We started, it was like zero minus.
I had £600 actually.
£600? Yeah. You were in debt. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel, and in this video you are going to learn all about serviced accommodation, rent to rents, but also what it takes to be a successful business owner, a successful property investor. I've got a couple of very successful property entrepreneurs with me in my house. They're from Czech Republic, they're living in Scotland, and they've come all the way to Buckinghamshire to share their story, to help impart their wisdom and inspiration to you. So if you enjoy my YouTube channel, please do me a massive favor, hit the like button. That would be really cool. Stay tuned until the end of the video because this is going to be a really good one. So firstly, Vincent and Ondrej, thank you so much for coming down all the way from Scotland, and it's massive congratulations on all you've done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you for coming.
So how did you guys meet, and when did you decide you wanted to get into property?
So we've met actually, I mean, we are kind of family. So he married my sister.
All right. So you guys are brother-in-laws?
Yes, we are, yeah.
And what's your background? Like, what's your occupation prior to property? I know now you're really successful in property, full-time in the industry, but what's your background?
I mean, I worked in hospitality for quite a long time. When I came here, obviously I had to work on my English and so on. I think from Vincent's it was similar, but then he...
Yeah, so I was a chef, after like a waiter, manager, and after I opened my street food business, my cafe, but all of that, it wasn't leading me anywhere where I wanted, like more like freedom with time. I was spending more time in the business, and after I had the 2 children, so I had to decide, to change, the life. So, and after, firstly reading some book from Robert Kiyosaki, so decided to start in the property journey.
So you were working, you had your own business, but then you kind of realized that it was actually like you owned a job.
Yes.
And you're working crazy hours. And it's really interesting. A lot of people, they start a business and they realize that actually it might be easier to have a job than to have, to be self-employed. I know my mum was like a mobile hairdresser, and she worked, crazy hard. And sometimes it's like a lot of business owners are on less than the minimum wage. So I don't know, how successful was it? Were you making good money or just working crazy hard?
We've been as a chef in the restaurants. We were working decent money, but I mean, as a business, it wasn't too good. Yeah. So I had to be there a lot, obviously, and it's more like I started the business not as a business. It's more like it was because I had a passion for cooking and being a chef. And when you do something just for passion and not think too much in the future about that, so you're gonna kind of get stuck with that because you have a high standards and it's very difficult to find someone.
Yeah. And in fact, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. He talks about, and it's really interesting because a lot of people say do what you love, but he says don't do what you love, do what needs to be done. And it's all right thinking about your passion, but you also need to think about profit. So after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's book, is that what kind of gave you the desire to get into property? Was that what kind of kick-started you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I learned a lot, but I think Vincent was the one who pushed me into it. Because obviously when Vincent had his food business, so I was kind of working with them, with my sister as well. And then I was a bit fed up of it, so I ran away to the Iceland. So I spent a few months there, but then I came back eventually, and Vincent said that he's going to Glasgow, I believe, on one property course, and he said like if I want to go with him. I was like, well, okay, I can try, and that's how it basically all started. And
did you guys have like money to invest at this point?
No, I'm in debt. I'm still in debt paying all the businesses because I had to put money into the businesses when I bought the cafe and all of that. So I had to take the loans. And obviously it was for a longer time, so I still own the debt. So when we started, it was like zero minus.
I had £600 actually.
£600?
Yeah.
You were in debt. Okay, and we're going to get to where you are now, because I know now you're in a very good financial position and you've done remarkably well, which we're going to get to how you've done that. So the first property strategy that you chose was buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. And you did a deal, and it took a long time, and you had a lot of headaches. Tell me about that deal.
So from the beginning, it went pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, we went on this 3 days course in Glasgow. They were like pushing us into their academy and so on. That time we refused to take any further education and so on. So it's like, okay, we'll jump straight away into it. So we bought a property on the auction. By coincidence actually, because we didn't have a time to go actually physically on the auction, so we done it through the proxy bidding, I think. So Vincent said like, okay, our auction bid will be 22,000 was it, and that's it. So in the morning we woke up, we went to somewhere, we were driving to the cafe actually, I think at that point. And we had a missed phone call on the phone, so obviously Vincent checked what is it, and they said like, oh, you won the auction. And we were like, oh, okay.
Did you have any money?
No.
We had just
8,000
8,000 for the deposit and for the auction fee on the account. And when we checked the morning the account, so it wasn't there. So they said we had 28 days to come up with 20,900 or something like that. And we had just 1,000, and we had 28 days, and we were like, oh well, journey starts.
Crazy. That's a really bold move, and one that I personally probably wouldn't recommend.
Yes.
That people do, bidding on auction properties without any money. It's kind of risky. So where did you get the money from?
So it was the stressful month.
Yeah, like super stressful.
Every week we were going for meetings with friends and with different people, and wrongly asking for money to invest into that deal, because nobody believed us, because we've been both from hospitality, chefs. So we're like, what are you gonna do in a property? We don't know, no all the time. And we had like, we need to do it, because even this 8,000 which they took the first day, it wasn't ours, it was already from someone. So we had to make it work. So we were pushing so hard.
So you borrowed 8 grand to put down the deposit, and then you had to get the rest of the money, but you didn't have it. That must have been stress.
It was, yeah.
But you know what though? That's where you grow as well though. So you managed to get through it. So you got the money and you refurbed the property. How much did it cost in total to refurb?
43,000.
So a big refurb. And then the end value?
Came 200,000, yeah.
Nice. 100 grand. So you were able to pull your money out. That's good. What was it that made you realise that you didn't want to continue just doing that strategy solely? Why did you decide to start doing rent-to-rent, serviced accommodation, lease options?
Well, we wanted to focus on quick cash also, because then we realized that, okay, we thought that maybe, if we go ahead with the refinance, it will be...
Sorry to interrupt you, but it was actually on the crash course, I think, or somewhere where we've been. And you talk about that, and we really realized that you said like quick money, quick cash, and slow. Quick and cash, and you need to do the both. And because of the Robert Kiyosaki book and what we were doing, we realized that we are doing just the slow money, and we eventually are struggling with the quick cash.
Right.
So after when we heard that from you, we were like, oh yeah, we need to focus on the quick cash, which we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first realization. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Actually, it's interesting because being a property investor is slow. It takes time. Even buying a house, I mean, you bought it from auction. That's the fastest way to do it. But generally speaking, it's going to take a few months. Yeah. And then refurbing takes a few months. How long did the whole process, beginning to end, with your little BRR deal take?
From the little project, it actually became a pretty big deal. Because we had so many struggles with the builders as well.
Yeah.
Which we learned a lot. On the very first deal, we basically learned any possible outcomes and so on. So
this deal we are talking about 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Yeah, there was a lot of issues.
And then after 1.5 years, you finally got your money back and you can pay your investors back. How much rent are you getting?
750.
750.
The rent profits 430.
430. So 430 pounds profit, which is great, but that's taken 1.5 years. Yeah. You could make that much profit on one rent to rent really quickly. And this is what I said to you I think it was in Newcastle at the Property Millionaire Intensive when it was like, look, man, and I even said to you at the time, I was like, you've done really well. What you've done on this BRR deal, huge respect. Do you remember this? Yes. I was like, really well done, but it's so slow. And to become financially free doing that is going to take years and years and years, a lot of stress, a lot of time. You should do that, but at the same time, do deal selling, rent to rent, serviced accommodation. So since that conversation, I know we did some training, but what happened next?
We've done your course for lease option agreements. We were sending letters.
Came here for the discovery day with you, I think. Yeah. It was 1.5 years ago, I think. So yeah, that was actually first opportunity where we could actually buy some course from you, which was the lease option agreement. So we managed to learn some step-by-step, basically, guide how to obtain one and so on.
And from that program, did you manage to get a lease option?
Yes, I mean we definitely used the letters that you suggested there. So we keep sending the letters out. We managed to get some deal in Bradford out from it, so it was also good. We adjusted them a little bit so it suits our needs, for exactly the houses that we are looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it worked well. I mean, we approached the landlords and so on, and we managed to get a deal out of it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Huge respect. And I think you got a second one as well.
So we managed to secure 2 lease option agreements in 1 month.
What for anyone that's thinking what the heck is a lease option, just break it down for me. What does it mean, a lease option agreement? How does it work?
So basically, you buy the house now, but you're gonna pay it later. Only thing what you need to pay is solicitors to draw the contract. So, and the important thing is on that is like whatever you agreed the price now, you're gonna buy it in a few years times, which is very good. And these lease options what we take, they've been in obviously, I mean, they don't have to be, but they've been in negative equity.
Yeah.
So they've been happy with our proposal, and we managed to get the one lease option agreement for 7 years and the other one for 10 years.
Wow.
So it gives us a lot of time to save for the deposit and whatever and buy it. But we also have in the agreement we can buy it at any time during the time.
Yeah.
So if the prices would go up and it would be 100,000 now, so we can just buy it tomorrow. So it would make sense for us to just use the situation.
Great. What solicitors did you use for that?
One of your recommended.
Did you get a restriction on the title deeds and stuff? Like what happens if the seller decides to change their mind?
Been told by the solicitor they shouldn't have, because they are aware what everything is happening.
Yeah, they can't. They were represented by a solicitor.
Yes.
You represent by a solicitor. Yes. If the solicitor's done a good job, which I know they will have done, there'll be a restriction on the title deeds that says that if they want to sell it, they have to sell it to you. And if you want to buy it, they have to say yes. What happens if you don't want to buy it?
Well, it's just the option of the buy. So I mean, we don't have to. I mean,
So you don't have to buy, but they do have to sell.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we do it in England only, because in Scotland it's a different rules.
Correct.
Because we are in Scotland, so we are thinking about this also in Scotland, but it's more strict because you need to buy it after. You must.
Are you making cash flow from them as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not. It's just 2 single lads. From one, one is also on a joint venture, because we are always using others people's money because we don't have any. So the one is bringing 100 and I think £20, and the other one is bringing £230, because the other one is from private investors also.
Okay.
well, because we don't have to put anything in it, so it's still.
So there's no money down.
Everything is no money down from our side. All the deals.
That's crazy. So you've got these 2 properties, you've got the capital appreciation of the properties, you've also got a little bit of cash flow coming in each month, but you've done it with 0 money. So what happened next?
In January, in 2021, we started with deal sourcing. So we were trying really hard, 3 months, and we sold nothing. I mean, we didn't have any training or anything, but we sold nothing. And we realized that our investor list of 60 people is maybe not enough. Right. We were trying to co-source, but we also figured out that maybe the locations where we are looking, it's not really working. So we didn't give up on that, but we postponed it. And we were like, let's find some rent-to-rent deal. And after watching your videos, but by then we still didn't have the course when I've been on Never Use Your Money Again.
Okay, so you've paid. It's done.
Yes, this is why I realized a lot of things after. So we've done, I remember I have it written, 26 viewings and 26 rejections, and 27 was yes for our first rent-to-rent deal. It's in Durham actually, which we were like, because it was something new for us. We were like, we want to make sure it's going to be bringing money because we have commitments, and we again did from investors' money, so we need to make sure. So, and it was in May, and after I visited your Never Use Your Money and BRR in September, and you said questions like, so how many of these you need to be financially free? And in my head was like, I don't need that many actually. Why I don't have more? It was June, July, August, September. It was like 4 months, and this was actually working. So I was like, why I didn't do more since that? And when you said that, I came. So you said like, write your goals. So I put there that I want to do 6 in the next 3 months, because you said 3 months goal, and after call your partner. I did call him, and in the 3 months, I didn't quite manage to get 6, but we managed to get 6 in 4 months, and 3 were like investors management. So 3 for us and 3 for investors, which was actually 6.
Nice. So now then, you've got, how many rent-to-rents do you have that's yours?
4.
And then you've also got some others which you're managing for some investors. How many of those?
3.
So in total 7, but 4 of them are yours. And roughly how much profit per month per property are you making?
In average, we would be around £400
Per property.
Because some of them are joint ventures again, because we are not using any of our money.
Right, so you're sharing the profits.
We are sharing the profits.
So you're making less monthly money than you would, but you put in nothing.
Yeah, we put nothing. Yeah, yes. So and the managed, also. So some property make a little bit more, something a little bit less, but in average 400 I was counting.
So how much are you making in total then at the moment with all your properties and everything? What sort of income are you getting?
So we are getting from single lets like 1,000, from rent to rents 3,000. Plus we sell roughly now, because we started deal sourcing in June again, so we sell like one deal a month around 2,000.
Nice. So altogether, I mean that's certainly a lot more than an average job.
Yeah, so it's around 6,000 on average at the moment. Yeah.
And you started with absolutely nothing, and you've used other people's money. That's incredible. And what would you say? I mean, advice would you give to someone that's starting with nothing? Because some people think that it's not possible because it sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Like you've only been in the game for sort of 18 months or so. That's not that long. If starting from nothing, zero money, to think that you've accumulated all these properties, you've got 2 lease options, 4 rent to rents, 3 under management, a BRR, like it's really impressive with nothing. Have you used any of your own money?
No.
Not really, no. I mean, if you don't have them, you can't.
This is the push. If you don't have them, you can't use them. Yeah.
Right. So what would you say has made it possible for you? Because I know we were speaking earlier about mindset and things like that, and about the difference between people that win and people that lose is actually mindset. But what advice would you give to somebody starting out that's got no money, that wants to follow in your footsteps?
I guess you have to have goals, no? You have to pursue them, and also surround yourself with people that actually either done it or they can at least show you how to do it. Or that's, I think, what I would say.
I think the money shouldn't be objections for someone to start in property.
Yeah.
If they think that they need money to make money, like objection, so they will never start. It doesn't matter how much money they have. I think if they know it can be done, so they need to just start. And a lot of people are just overthinking all the process. They are thinking about the step, I don't know, D, E, F, but they are not taking the action for step A. So if they are willing to take the first action in step A, so the rest is going to come up like we did. We found first 8,000, and after we put it as a deposit, and when this was agreed, so we're like, now we need to do it.
Yeah.
But because if you wouldn't take the first step, you never know where it's going to lead. So I think a lot of people, they are still getting a lot of knowledge, they are learning, but they are not taking any action. So I think they need to take the action.
Really interesting. I mean, it was actually a friend of mine called Anthony Lavelle who said, most people think that their problem is that they haven't got any money, but actually the hard bit is not getting the money. The hard bit is getting to the point where you need the money.
Yeah.
Because you might think, I need $3,000 for a rent to rent. I haven't got $3,000. But actually, just go and find a rent to rent. That's hard enough. And then when you find one and you're like, now I need the money, it's actually not too difficult getting the money. How did you get the money for the training though? Because you spent thousands on training programs. Where did that money come from?
Again, from investors.
Wow.
So when I was on your training course, I remember that I was texting 2 people like, can you lend me 1,000? And for what? Training course, investing into myself. All right. And then another person the same, so they put 2,000 and I bought the course. Wow. That's how I raised. I've done it on the spot, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, one friend of mine, I would never guess that she would actually lend me, but she did. A friend, she's a waitress. I mean, an incredible person, and to be honest, thanks to her.
All right, I need to talk to you guys about how to raise finance, because that seems to be one of your greatest skills. You took £8,000 deposit on an auction, then the rest, money for training, money for rent to rents. How do you do this? How do you get people to just give you thousands and thousands of pounds? What's the do you have an agreement, a contract?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, definitely we do have a contract between each other, even though they are maybe friends and so on, but obviously everyone wants to have a security.
What kind of a contract do you have?
We have a simple 2-page loan agreement, like how much they are giving us, for how long, what's the return on investment for them, signed, dated.
And how much interest do you give them, or do you give them a percentage of your profits?
Percentage, it depends.
Well, yeah.
Depends.
Usually it's interest, basically.
Usually it's like 1% a month. This is usually like 12% a year, yeah.
1% a month, 12% a year is how much you normally give, and then you borrow it over how long?
Depends on the project, but usually minimum like 1 year.
Right. Yeah. Is that not really risky?
I mean, if you know what the deal you are making, how much you're going to be making the profit, you can calculate, you can do your research. Yeah. So if you know that your rent-to-rent service accommodation is going to be making £500 a month, and you know that you need to be paying him, I don't know, for example, if he lend us for the deal 5,000, which is £50 from that. So you put £50 for that, and you can put money on the side for him to give him money back in a year. So even for a year you would be just giving him the money, but after you didn't need to put any of your own money and you are just profiting.
I guess it's like Robert Kiyosaki talks about, you know, don't work for money, make money work for you. So you're even smarter because you're making other people's money work for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a win situation for them because obviously they maybe have a savings on the side, but they are not doing anything for them. So obviously if you offer them some interest on their money, they are happy to lend them to you. And if they have some questions, you can always show them the project where you are going to invest it in. And if it makes sense to them, then they're obviously happy to go ahead.
And I guess they're kind of investing in you, aren't they, really? Because presumably the loans that, you know, they're unsecured. So if you couldn't pay them back, then there's very little comeback. I mean, they could take you to court and they'd win, but it's not like they have got a charge on a property with the rent to rents. So I guess there's a little bit of trust there. How do you build that up? How do you build relationships and get people to a point whereby that they believe in you so much that they're prepared to put money into your deal?
Well, it takes time, definitely. Obviously, they need to know you, they need to trust you, like you said. So obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. Vincent met many people actually on networking events and so on. I've also networked with people even just through the social medias. Some of them I have never met in person actually, but because we are already, you know, for months and years in touch, they just probably know what kind of person I am. So they just.
I think you start with your family and friends around, and just asking them, you know, for money, the way how you should ask, you know, follow kind of a script, not just like ask like when we've done the first time. Now we know how to ask more professionally. Right. And when you start with them, so the most important is to build credibility, so people can see you. So I think it's important for people if they are starting in a property. I tell it to all my clients because I work with some people also, just to, you know, do social media, you know, go out there, do networking events, present yourself, what you do, and just be presentable so people can see what you do because they'll buy from you.
Yeah. And how do you ask? How do you ask professionally? So what does that look like?
It's like you are planting the seeds with the people. I think you are saying that also on the events. Yeah. So it's more like you don't ask them. You ask them for help to check the project, what you have, what they think about that, and if they know kind of someone who would be willing to invest into that project, and they are thinking that had like, what the heck, he doesn't ask me? I have the money on the account, and he doesn't know, but he's the person we are asking for the money.
That's brilliant. So you're basically like, hey, I really value your opinion. I've got this project. I'd love you to look at it. This is what it is. I am going to be looking for investment. I need £4,000. What do you think? What do you think kind of things I should be saying to the investors? And then they're thinking, well, hang on a minute. I got £4,000. And then they might even put themselves forward and go, well, I might be interested. And then boom.
And the funny thing is, I asked one family, which are my friends, like a family friends, and have a children and so on, and I wouldn't even think they have money. I wouldn't think they are living like a nice life, but I wouldn't think they would have many savings. So I've done the same thing with them, but I literally was asking them if they know someone. I really was asking them if they know someone. And these people like, I do have this 4,000. And next time I ask them the same, like, you know, I know you already invested in 4,000 this deal. Would you know anyone who would have a 3,000 for this deal? Because I already raised 3, I need 3. I have another 3. I was like, whoa. So sometimes we are thinking the people which they have money and they would lend us, they wouldn't do it. But the people which we think they don't have the money, they actually do.
That's a great tip. And I think there's no rejection either, because you're not saying to them, can you lend me money? And they're having to say no. So if they don't want to lend you money, they'll just go, oh, I'll have a think on it and I'll let you know if I think of anybody. So it's not awkward. There's no rejection. That's genius. And the fact that you're investing in deals, you know, I have huge respect for you guys investing into yourselves as well, because I think that when you invest in yourself, it makes it much easier for other people to invest in you, because you've invested, you know what you're doing, you know the numbers. How's life changed then over the last couple of years, from now to, say, 2 years ago when you were working as a chef and you were running away in Iceland? What's life like now compared?
It's definitely warmer than Iceland, I would say. But no, it's obviously it's different. I mean, we are progressing and we still want to grow. It's definitely, I mean, I feel a little bit more fulfilled than before. I don't have to be depending on somebody's paycheck and so on. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I definitely want to develop it.
How about you, Vincent? How's life changed?
I mean, a lot, because again, I'm doing what I want to do, in the property, going for viewing, speaking with people, and a lot about being around like-minded people. If I go on the networking events or different, trainings like from you. I mean, on your training, Never Use Our Money and BRR, this is where I met a lot of joint venture partners, and they are still sending me messages. They want to do joint venture, but I don't have a deal at the moment.
Wow.
So that's
so there's more money there than there is deals available for you right now.
That is, yeah. So yeah, so I really like the community of people, being around the people, because I think this is very powerful.
Yes.
Network. And if you are just in your job, like, I ran the cafe, so they came, the people, they left, and it was always just the, I don't know how to say, the small chat with the people, but it wasn't really leading anywhere. I obviously served them, I've done some business with them, but it wasn't fulfilling. I like the cooking, but it wasn't going anywhere. But now we have a plans to, focus and progress more. So it's like, when you have the right people around yourself, you can do that.
That's great. You guys have invested into my training, and you've got the practical how-to skills, but you've also, I know you've done a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins, and I know you guys have got really into personal development, and you're paying it forward. It's great to see you. A lot of people are talking about how, you've passed inspiration to them and you're pulling others up. How important is personal development and mindset in all of this, as opposed to just having the theory and the skills?
I really like what Tony Robbins is saying. He's saying like 80% of success, it's your mindset, it's your psychology, and 20% are the strategy, skills, and so on. Yeah. And what I realized in the time, it's like a lot of people are just focusing on the knowledge, and they are overthinking all the process, right, and rather than to be focusing on themselves. So as I mentioned, I'm working with some clients, through the coaching, and then they are asking me like what to do. I mean, I explain them the how to do the end-to-end things like that, but they wouldn't still take this action sometimes. So the important is to take the action, and when they are like, what else can I do? I was like, read the book. Yeah. Take a personal development book, and just read it, because over there you're gonna learn so much, so much things which may help you in the future. You never know, but stop reading things which are not important for what you want to accomplish, but just try to do something, because books are great, because they are the cheapest knowledge what you can get. You can get a book for £10, and you can learn so much. Not everybody have a lot of thousands for seminars for start, but everybody can get the book. Yeah. So if you are starting, you can just read the books, and in a while when you're gonna grow as a person, so you can obviously grow your business, but it's go together. You cannot just grow your business and not grow as a person, because it wouldn't lead you anywhere.
So why is it so important to you? Because I know you've started doing mindset coaching to people and helping people that might be struggling. Why do you love doing that so much? What made you want to start doing that recently?
It's funny you ask, because I think you have the same I have to say the feeling. It's because like when you work with someone, with the person, and they are succeeding and they are taking the steps because they learned that from you, so it makes you even more happy. Yeah. So their success makes you more happy than your success.
That's great. And it's so good that when you start succeeding and getting to the top of the mountain, it's so good to then pull other people up with you and help other people, whether that be inspiring them or recommending books to them, or like what you're doing and coaching them on mindset. I think it's absolutely fantastic. What's the plan then on the property front from here? What are you wanting to do over the next sort of few months and years?
So right now, I mean, we launched, for example, the management company for the rent-to-rent service accommodations. Yeah. So definitely want to scale this one up. We would like to expand. At the moment we have most of the properties in Scotland, so we want to definitely scale up. So we will be probably covering a bit bigger areas and so on. That's one side. So I'm definitely focusing on that at the moment. Definitely we want to, systematize the sourcing of the deals and so on. Yeah.
So basically just more of the same, but just scale it and grow it and make more money. Yeah. And what was it that made you agree to come down all the way from Scotland to my house in Beaconsfield to do this interview?
I mean, we got the invitation from you. We were chatting on the Facebook. You said we should come, so I started to chat just with your team about the opportunity. So I mean, it's great to be, you know, with you and around, again, like around people like-minded, and be around someone like you. It's like always good. So why not?
Well, I really appreciate you coming down, and it's been a real pleasure to have seen your success. And if there's anything you need from me moving forward, give me a shout. What will be your final words of wisdom and advice to someone watching the video that's just starting out? Final words of wisdom, go.
Invest into yourself, I guess.
I would say, don't be afraid to take the action. Yeah. Take a massive action right now. When you shot the video, just go, do it.
Love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming down. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that. 2 pieces of advice from these guys that are actually doing it, that have been there, done it, got the t-shirt, started from nothing, is invest in yourself and take massive action right now. If you want to come down to the Property Investors Crash Course, it's completely free. There are limited tickets available, but if you want to come down, there's a link in the description, so get booked on. If you want to connect with these wonderful people, I'm also going to leave their details also in the description. That I've done over 100 interviews like this. In fact, way more. Every week for the last 3 years, I've been interviewing people on Winners on a Wednesday. There's an entire playlist right here. Check it out. Subscribe. Get down to the Property Investors Crash Course, and I'll see you next time.